I've been given the honor to introduce the family of Senator Georgia Powers. I've been with them this afternoon. It has been a pleasure to speak with them. It just seems like I've known them most of my life. So I'm going to go through this, and I know you all are ready to meet Mr. Lawrence, who is the brother of Senator Powers. So I'm going to give you a little history about her. Senator Powers was a woman that affected many people in our country and our world. As a black woman, she had tremendous grit to even think about running for state office in the 1960s. Not only did Powers win, she had the spirit to work for the betterment of women, African Americans, and children, and was determined to see that better housing was provided for our citizens in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Powers opened the door for many people, even me. Had it not been for people with her stamina and courage, I probably would not be standing here today as mayor of Springfield. So I, like all of you, honor Powers this evening for the significant contribution she has given to us in creating more equality in our state and in our country. I think maybe a lot of her grit came from being born the second of 9 children to Ben Gore and Frances Walker Montgomery, because she was the only girl. She obviously had 8 brothers to contend with, so I suspect she established her equal playing field at a very early age. Senator Powers was born in Springfield in 1923 and lived on Jimtown Road, just a couple of miles outside of the city. Throughout her life, she was very clear that she was born here in Springfield. Powers attended 2 of our African American Heritage Festivals here and was always enjoying and coming back to the hometown of her family. Her family has shared many stories about her with me, and it is indeed an honor to have so many of her relatives here with us. I especially wish to acknowledge the presence of her grandsons, Nikki and Lamont and their families, her brothers and their wives, James and Marie, Lawrence and Violet, and Philip and Rose. They all are accomplished individuals in their own right, and I know Senator Powers took great pride in all of her family. One of her brothers, Lawrence Franklin Montgomery, is going to share with us some of Senator Powers' life and accomplishments. The accomplishments of Lawrence himself are indicative of the grit, passion, and motivation of the Montgomery family. Lawrence worked 2 jobs to establish his career. He was employed with the Postal Service for 38 years while also working at Hathaway and Clark Funeral Home. He has since retired from the Postal Service but continues to serve as president and CEO of Hathaway and Clark. Lawrence has been very active in the Masons, serving as the Grand Master Prince Hall affiliate for the Commonwealth of Kentucky from 1976 to 1978. His service in the Masons has been greatly recognized. He, like his sister, was an elected official and served as an alderman of the city of Louisville. In addition, Lawrence is a lifetime member of the NAACP, sustaining member of the YMCA, a Kentucky colonel, and what he considers most important, is a member of Calvary Missionary Baptist Church in Louisville. And finally, one of the most interesting stories about Lawrence is that Muhammad Ali was a great friend of his, was his next door neighbor, and babysat for his children. Without further ado, it is my indeed honor to welcome Mr. Lawrence Franklin Montgomery to say a few words about his sister, Senator Georgia Montgomery Davis Powers.
Hello, Springfield. It is a great pleasure to be here with you today to honor my sister. I'd like to thank Mayor Wakefield, Mrs. Nell Hayden, her committee members, and all of the officers in Springfield for this wonderful festival. It's great to see so many here to honor Georgia's memory. I especially want to thank Mayor Wakefield and our very capable assistant, Ms. Neil Hayden, for committing the good citizens of Springfield who made this occasion possible. I would also like to thank Mayor Wakefield for recognizing my family. Now I would like to introduce our family members. When I call your name, will you please stand to be recognized? Or if you can't stand, just wave your hand. First of all, Senator George Powers' grandson is here from Lamont Jones and his family. I have two brothers, Philip Montgomery and Rose Montgomery, who was not able to be here today because of illness in their family. But I do have one brother here, James Montgomery, and his wife, Marie. Would y'all just wave your hand? I know you'll understand. And of course, my lovely wife is here, Violet. I would like for her to, would you please stand, baby? All right. Thank you. Now, Georgia had plenty of nieces and nephews. I would like for all of the nieces and nephews to please stand. There's one right here. There you are. All right. Thank you. In fact, one of Georgia's nieces is named after her. Her name is Dr. Georgia Montgomery Hampton. Would you please stand, Dr. Hampton? I would also like to recognize my Prince Hall Masonic family brothers that are here today. Any of the Masonic brothers here? Any of the Masonic brothers, are any of you here? They escorted us in the parade. There they are. Okay. I do have one personal story that I would like to share with you, if you don't mind. As all of you know, Georgia was born right here in Springfield. She was born in the neighborhood of Jimtown, but she did not get to stay here very long because as a toddler, a tornado came by Springfield, Jimtown, blew the house away. Georgia and her brother, Joseph, were blown into a tree on a mattress at this tornado. Her parents, Ben and Frances Montgomery, and her brother Joseph and Georgia moved to Louisville at that time. She was the only girl, as you've heard, from 8 boys. And she learned early in her life that she had to be tough to deal with all those boys. When she was 11 years old, our mother was pregnant and a fortune teller at the state fair told her she was going to have a girl. This was good news for Georgia. She told all of her friends, all of her schoolmates, everybody that she met, that she was going to have a little sister. They had even picked out a name for this little girl, Laura Francis. Then lo and behold, you know what happened? Our mother had a boy, another boy, the sixth boy of the family. And they named him Lawrence Franklin. Okay. Georgia loved me because she was really upset and cried because she did not get a little sister. And she told me later in the years that she was sorry that she cried when I was born. As she grew into adulthood, she developed a love for her community and all people, and later saw benefits as politics as a way to get her voice heard. As she served her community and state, she was a person who got things done. She saw opportunity and possibility and gave what was needed most, leadership. Even though we are many different ages and have all kinds of jobs and interests, it is certain that we have one thing in common today, and that is our love and admiration for a woman who never quit until the job was done and smiled through it all. That woman, of course, was the senator from Louisville's 33rd District, Georgia Montgomery Davis Powers. Mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, cousin, and friend to many. Upon retiring after 21 years in the Kentucky State Senate, Georgia became a much sought after public speaker and a published author. You can learn more about her extraordinary life and many accomplishments at www.georgiadavispowers.com. Thank you for this opportunity to pay tribute to my sister, Georgia Powers, a champion like Muhammad Ali. They all grew up on Grand Avenue in Louisville. We were all good neighbors, next door neighbors, and a drum major for justice and equality. I leave you with this, in her own words. What a blessed life I've lived from my birth until this time. I consider myself on a mission as an advocate for African American women, children, disabled, handicapped, elderly, and voiceless people. Thank you very much.
Good evening. It is a wonderful pleasure to be here with you as your state representative. During the 2016 session, it was my distinct honor and pleasure to recognize Senator Powers in the Kentucky legislature by filing a resolution that passed with unanimous support in the House of Representatives in the 2016 session, and also to present your family with what I think is just a wonderful memorial to her leadership, her life, and her legacy. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting your sister, but I've heard so much, and she's just blazed the trail for many of us. Yes, indeed. So thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with your family this evening. And we're also joined by Senator Jimmy Higdon, one of Washington County's beloved favorite friends and sons, and Senator Higdon.
Thank you, Representative King. Good find. It's an honor to be here tonight. I'd like to thank Mayor Wakefield and the committee and Senator Powers' family for allowing me to be here. Back on February 4th, Senator Powers' family was in Frankfurt. Senator Gerald Neal did a Senate resolution that I have a copy of here tonight. A very nice event. We unveiled, not only did we do the Senate resolution to honor Senator Powers, we unveiled a plaque, a bronze plaque on her desk to recognize her as the first this, the first African American ever elected to the Kentucky State Senate, and the first female. And in the middle of it. I never had the opportunity to speak to Senator Powers on the Senate floor, but I did have the opportunity to speak to her here in Springfield several years ago, and what an honor it was to speak with her, and I know how proud she was of Springfield, Kentucky. So this resolution, it recognizes Senator Powers for many, many accomplishments, and I won't go read it, but like I said, the family has been presented this, but it's appropriate to recognize her in her hometown of Springfield and to say what a wonderful, great woman, and a woman that is in the history books, who had a deep love for this county, a deep love for Kentucky, and a deep love for all her fellow citizens of the Commonwealth, and did so much for each and every one of us. And it's my honor tonight to be here and present you all with another copy of the Senate resolution, and to thank you for allowing me to be here to do that. What an honor. Thank you all.